Okay, so there comes a point where a franchise just refuses to die. Not because it has a story to tell, but because it has to make money. And Ice Age might be one of the worst offenders in that regard. I grew up with this franchise the same way I grew up with Toy Story and Shrek. But unlike those two, Ice Age feels like it left zero impact on people. The only thing people seem to talk about is that the sequels are terrible and that the baby should rest in pieces. Somehow, and some reason, we're getting another one next year. And because of that, I want to go through all 5 of these main installments and share how I personally feel about them. Disney minus that spin-off. That piece of crap doesn't really count. From human tribes to dinosaurs to pirates to magnetic asteroids, we're in for one creatively bankrupt franchise. The first Ice Age has a simple story. It follows an unlikely trio of animals that consists of Manny, a moody mammoth, Sid, a loudmouth sloth, and Diego, a saber-toothed tiger, as they all work together in returning a human baby to its tribe. Something I love about this movie is the banter and chemistry between these characters. Ray Romano plays Manny as a tough mammoth who wants to be left alone, mainly because of the loss of his family. Dennis Leary plays Diego as a firm and assured hunter tasked with bringing the baby back to his pack for revenge against humans, but has a nice redemption arc after a change of heart bonding with Manny and Sid. John Leguizamo plays Sid as a dim-witted sloth who's constantly abandoned and wants to belong to something.
Will you cut it out?
Hey, do that again. He likes it.
It's making me feel better, too.
Fun fact, John Leguizamo tried 30 different voices for Sid and decided on talking like he had food in his mouth since sloths actually store food in their mouths.
I don't like this cat. He reads minds. You know, you never see any sloths in these things. Have you ever noticed? With my little stick and my highly evolved brain, I shall create fire.
That is just bloody clever. Manny is the best character in my opinion. I love seeing characters like him act moody throughout until a backstory explains why he's so distant and alone. The cave scene is one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Without dialogue, we're visually shown how his family were killed by humans and how attached he's become to the baby. Not in any weird, creepy way. You know what I meant, right? The music just helps make the scene more emotional. It's so well done. Compared to the rest of the movies, this is the most emotional film. I love how it balances emotion and humor. Like I said, the banter between the trio is great. There's some decent modern jokes. The dodos are hilariously dumb. And of course, there's a saber-toothed squirrel Scrat with his slapstick. Scratstick? Is that even a word? Ah, well, it is now. I love Scrat and his antics. His appearance is like an intermission for the main story. The opening scene with him was originally the only scene he had, but test audiences loved him so much to the point where they added more scenes with him throughout. That fact alone just tells you that he is the best part in all of these movies, and at some points the only thing. Ice Age is one of those movies with a simple story but done well with its well-written characters, solid animation for its time, great music, and funny slapstick. It's clearly the best film in the franchise. It earned positive reviews from critics and audiences and grossed $383 million. Solid return for Blue Sky's first film, and just like that, a franchise is born. The first sequel, The Meltdown, sees the trio trying to escape a massive flood, joined by new characters consisting of Ellie, a mammoth, and Crash and Eddie, 2 possums. And right away, you can tell the animation has improved. The environments, the water, the fur, everything just looks more detailed. There's also a lot more color compared to the first film's colder and desaturated look. And this is also where the humor starts getting more childish. It's not bad, but it's definitely less clever than the first.
I thought fat guys are supposed to be jolly.
I'm not fat. It's this fur that makes me look big.
Oh, okay. He's fat.
With that being said, the movie actually feels more intense at times. The melting dam is a great running thread, and I love how the film keeps cutting back to it as it slowly falls apart. Meanwhile, Scrat is still there trying to get his nuts, completely ignoring the flood that's coming. Scrat himself continues to be funny as hell. There's a lot more Scrat stick this time around. The music isn't as iconic, and that is because they changed composers, but still I like it fine. It does enough to give this film its own identity. Where things do start to slip a bit is the writing, especially compared to the first. Diego's arc about overcoming his fear of water isn't as deep as his arc in the first, but I think it works. Sid has this thing where he feels unappreciated, which leads to a point where a cult of sloths kidnap him and prepare to sacrifice him to stop the melting. This scene does have some meme-worthy moments. But it still feels like a random scene that has nothing to do with the movie. You could cut this whole scene and it wouldn't really change anything. Manny's storyline is probably the strongest. The idea that he's afraid of being the last of his kind and is hesitant to love someone like Ellie again is solid, but the problem is that he and Ellie don't have much chemistry. There's not really any cute moments between them. There is just one bit here.
What about me is attractive?
Huh? I don't know. Well, there's your butt.
What about it?
It's big?
But that's pretty much it. And at one point she gets pissy when he mentions the idea of saving their species.
No, I didn't
I'm
mean...
not a mammoth for 5 minutes and you're hitting on me?
I wasn't saying not right now. I was just saying that it's our responsibility.
What?
All right, that came out wrong.
But even that gets brushed aside pretty quickly, especially as it gets stuck in this rock scene. That's another random ass moment. How the hell did this happen?
I guess we finally did something right together.
I get what the movie was going for, but the romance never fully lands for me. And a big reason for that is because this whole thing where Ellie thinks she's a possum takes up a good chunk of the movie. And it's just stupid.
You found another mammoth.
Don't be ridiculous. I'm not a mammoth, I'm a possum.
This guy giving you trouble, sis?
Sis?
Possum, possum, possum.
I don't think her tree goes all the way to the top branch.
How do you confuse yourself for being a little possum when you're literally the biggest thing alive right now?
Maybe mammoths are going extinct because they put themselves in danger too often. Maybe you should run away more.
Bravery is just dumb. Maybe you should run away more.
Crash and Eddie are fine here. They're not great, they're not terrible. They're tolerable, it's the nicest thing I can say about them. They definitely get worse later on. Overall, I find Meltdown to be a pretty decent sequel. Even though it's not as funny, and stuff like the romance and writing weren't up to par, it still felt like a true follow-up thanks to its stakes, the scratch stick, and improved animation. Despite mixed reviews, Meltdown grossed $667 million. Twice as much as the first one. You know what happens next. The next entry, Dawn of the Dinosaurs, sees the herd trying to find Sid, who's kidnapped by a T-Rex after he stole her eggs. What an idiot, I know. This leads to them discovering an underground world inhabited by dinosaurs. This is a pretty fresh entry for the series. Not purely because it has dinosaurs, but because it's visually impressive. The animation, the lighting, the detail, the setting. I think this is the best looking film in the franchise. We've already spent 2 movies up top in the ice, and it's refreshing to see these characters in a more colourful and lively setting. The scrap parts are still solid, and this time he's screwing around with a female one. The scratch stick this time around is arguably the funniest. Poor Scrat goes through so much pain in this one, I feel bad for him. It's funny to see these two fight over this nut and eventually fall in love, but by the end she's bossing him around and forcing him to go back to his nut, and she gives him this look like he's cheating on her. It's so funny. But the best part of this movie for me is the weasel Buck.
Short for Buckminster. Long for...
Buck is such a great addition to this franchise. He's voiced by Simon Pegg and he's having a blast here.
Hello? Yeah, no, I'm trying to recover a dead sloth. No, they're following me. I know. They think I'm crazy. It's time to get buck wild.
Outside of those pros, there's still cons like the writing and pacing. They don't get to the underworld till like 30 minutes in. I think they spend a little too long on Sid looking after the dino kids. It feels like they repeat his arc from the last one about being left out again, and that's part of the reason he takes the eggs in the first place. They've also got Ellie who's pregnant, causing Manny to be overprotective at points. Diego's worried about losing his instincts and considers leaving them. Yeah, everyone's arcs here just aren't as strong this time around. Manny's is fine being overprotective, and why wouldn't he be after losing his family movies prior, but it's not as emotionally investing as the last two, even though we still get some alright moments.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to keep you safe, and now you're in the most dangerous place in the world.
This isn't your fault. It's bigger than both of us. We have to get Sid.
Yeah, but if I had been a better friend to him, we wouldn't be here.
Buck's big rival Rudy is an alright threat, but he's barely in it. It doesn't fully show up till the last 15 minutes. Outside of those flaws, it's got really good music, some fun sequences, and in my mind, solid humor. The amount of innuendos in this movie is insane. They're all just so out of pocket.
I feel tingly.
Don't say that when you're pressed up against me.
Not that kind of tingly.
I thought you were a female!
I knew that guy when he was a caterpillar. You know, before he came out.
Oh, it's a boy!
That's its tail.
It's a girl!
Now, let me tell you about the time I used a sharpened clamshell to turn a T-Rex into a T-Rachel.
Yes, master.
Dawn of the Dinosaurs is considered the best sequel in the franchise, and I can't argue with that. I really like this one. Outside of the first one, it's the most nostalgic film for me. Even though Dawn of the Dinosaurs got more mixed reviews this time, it grossed $880 million worldwide, becoming the franchise's and Blue Sky's highest grossing film. And by the time Continental Drift came out, Blue Sky just kind of stopped caring. This one sees Scrat literally causing a Continental Drift, forcing Manny, Diego, and Sid to be adrift at sea, coming across a band of pirates. Yeah, at this point, the series has lost me. Where the last sequels at least took their time with character and plotting, this movie adds too many characters and crams it into a story that's rushed and half-assed. This one recycles Manny's overprotectiveness from 3, but makes it about his daughter Peaches, in the most cliched way possible.
You can't control my life!
I'm trying to protect you! That's what fathers do!
Well, I wish you weren't my father.
The whole conflict between Manny and Peaches becomes an afterthought when they get separated. In fact, the whole disaster shit happens within the first 13 minutes. And before that, they introduce Sid's grandma, Peaches' friend Lucius, some more mammoths, with one played by Drake and another played by Nicki Minaj. Why the hell are they in this movie? The entire first act is poorly paced as it cuts back and forth between plot points. It's all too fast, but it's not until the pirates show up that the movie really gets dumb. Yeah, we went from dinosaurs to pirates, and one of them is a lady tiger, resulting in another half-assed arc for Diego. Gut as a villain, I just don't get. He just comes off as all bark and no bite. During the last half, he's focused on revenge on Manny for, what, the food that you lost on your ship? A ship you ended up replacing twice?
That mammoth has taken my ship, my bounty, and now the loyalty of my crew. I will destroy him and everything he loves.
I'm sorry, why do you seek revenge? Okay, outside of those cons, the animation still feels solid, the music continues to be great, and I do like how this feels a bit more like Meltdown in terms of disaster and stakes. But that's honestly overshadowed by all the pirate shit. Also, the humor just gets more childish at this point.
Granny, grab my paw!
No way! This is my first bath in decades.
I know 3 and 2 had their flaws, but they at least feel more aligned to the first movie in terms of tone and direction. Continental Drift just gets too epic and silly. There's too many characters and plot points, causing character arcs to be half-assed. The mixed reviews didn't seem to matter, because this one grossed almost the same amount as 3. If only the franchise could stop here. If you thought Continental Drift was stupid, well, Collision Course gets really f***ing stupid. This one literally has Scrat cause an asteroid to head towards Earth, and the entire plot is just the characters trying to stop it. We've got Buck back, 3 dinosaurs chasing him, magnetic rocks, and Scrat flying a UFO. Wait, UFO? Wasn't that shown all the way back in the first one? Along with a fish, a dinosaur, and a sea of sloths?
Coincidence? I think not!
And by this point, we're a long way from that film by now. Most of the problems from 4 are doubled up here, because we've got more new characters, multiple subplots, and more dumb humor.
This half a snack is a dinosaur whisperer?
And expert salsa dancer.
Am I dead yet?
I genuinely hate this movie's sense of humor. It feels like the film is allergic to taking anything seriously, and whenever it tries to have a serious moment, it's lazy, rushed, and cliched. Manny's character is done dirty. He's so out of character.
Boom.
Don't ever do that again.
He thinks Peaches' fiance Julian is incapable of protecting her, and there's this subplot where he and Ellie try to stop them from leaving once they're married, thinking she wouldn't survive on her own. I'm sorry, didn't we just do this arc in the last one? Why are we recycling Manny's overprotectiveness? Manny doesn't even feel strong or grounded anymore. He lies about missing his anniversary and barely reacts to the fact that an asteroid is about to hit the planet.
Okay, party's over, everybody.
Hey.
Have a good night, and leave right now.
What are you talking about? The party just got started.
Yeah. Oh, just getting kind of sleepy. Everyone should go. And duck, possibly cover.
Sid has an arc about finding love, but still feels repeated from 2, 3, and 4 about being alone. The possums continue to be annoying as balls.
Tell that asteroid! Hashtag asteroid!
Hashtag, what does hashtag mean?
Hashtag, I don't know, but it sounds cool.
Hashtag totally.
Hashtag, I'm starting to get sick of it.
Peaches is a walking cliche, and Diego has nothing going for him. It's funny how Diego's character arcs just get worse and worse as the series goes on. You know, I completely forgot his girlfriend Shira was even in this, so she has nothing to do too. Buck ends up carrying the entire plot, which just makes everyone else feel useless. The dinos chasing them plan to stop them and let the asteroid hit while they fly high in the sky. They do acknowledge that it's dumb, but it's dumb nonetheless. The asteroids that come down are magnetic, and the only reason I can think why is so they can have an excuse to stop the big one. Then there's this Geotopia where the previous asteroids have hit and all the gems inside make the people there younger. Why didn't it make Granny younger there, but it did so later on? Because the writers don't give a shit anymore. This movie also lacks any semblance of stakes. A literal asteroid is heading towards Earth and it somehow feels completely weightless because the tone refuses to take anything seriously. Even Continental Drift had some sense of seriousness. Seriously, it feels like they couldn't couldn't come up with actual jokes anymore, so instead they had characters say or do random stupid things and called it comedy. Even Scrat and Buck, who are the best parts of this movie for sure, even they aren't enough to make this even watchable. The iconic trio that started this damn franchise barely share screen time together. That's how lazy this franchise has gotten. You're probably wondering at this point, is there anything good in this piece of shit? I mean, this line isn't so bad.
I am a rabid beast who gives rabies to babies.
This joke here feels like it came from Dawn of the Dinosaurs.
Oh, isn't she gorgeous?
How can you tell it's a sheep?
Oh.
There's this nearly 2.5 minute one take of Buck against the dinosaurs. It's clearly the best scene of the movie. I mean, Buck continues to be entertaining at least.
La 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 la. You know I'm greater, so don't be a hater. You may be Jurassic, but I am fantastic.
Props to Simon Pegg for, you know, actually giving a shit. Because of this franchise's decline in quality, it caused this one to gross $408 million, being such a drop off from 3 and 4. Yeah, that's what you call franchise fatigue. Ice Age as a film on its own is a funny, grounded, heartwarming adventure, but as a franchise, it's a cash cow lacking any creative ideas. 2 and 3 feel more aligned with the first and at least have some source to their visuals and music. 4 is a whatever sequel, and 5 is a travesty that should have gone extinct. With Boiling Point announced to come out next year, I'm hoping it's more aligned with the first 3. But if it's anything like these two, I'm gonna force myself into extinction. How I'm gonna do that? I don't know. I've got a year to figure that out.